So in this RevvedUp Meet 1 that you did, usme what was the categorization and how many cars were you expecting in each of the categories?
There was no categorization. There was only one ticket.
Okay.
Okay. Rest it was VIP and general. I wanted people to be in their comfort zone.
Okay.
Ki slowly and eventually I'll change that.
Okay.
So VIP I did for the invitees, most of the invitees, but people ended up coming there in the VIP area only because I didn't want to do a segregation thing. If you see a Bentley Continental GT and right beside it you park a Honda City, would you like to see it?
Fair enough.
Even if it's a heavily modded car, you wouldn't like to see it because there should be a section, proper section that you will see these kinds of cars here, modded cars there. So that was the whole point of doing it, but it got mixed up. Okay, some people got offended. I personally didn't like it. I wanted this. It was my first event. It was bound to happen. Yeah.
But what did you learn out of it?
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
There'll be tens of things.
What I learned, people get offended easily. This time for RevvedUp 2.0, what I'm doing is I am not dividing it into VIP and general. I'm creating zones.
Like what?
So one would be the superbike zone. One would be vintage zone. So one would be supercar zone. One would be modded zone. I am not doing that segregation anymore, the VIP and general one.
Okay.
Because that was not my point at the first place only. I didn't want to do that, but it was important for the car parking. If I wanted to do that, I would have made a lot. Okay, VIP I would have sold it for like 2-3k and the general passes for 1000. I didn't do that. I had a fixed price for every ticket. It was 899.
Okay.
For everyone.
Do you have a dream event?
So I want a good area with drift arenas, like one corner people are drifting, one is for drag races. In one venue only, I'm trying to find the perfect venue for that. It should be drag races, then one whole area should be for the supercars, collector cars, everything. One should be for vintage. So basically everything under one roof, and people should really enjoy it, not coming there just for the sake of showing off.
For Archit, it was never about dividing people. It was about making the event manageable and memorable for everyone. Unfortunately, the perception of segregation hurt the very sense of unity he wanted to foster. RevvedUp 1.0 taught him that passion knows no boundaries, no labels, and in the end, it's about learning and growing from every turn. Because when you're building a community, every misstep is just fuel for a stronger drive forward. Coming back to when I asked you about the kind of people and cars you invite, how do you choose that? So in this RevvedUp Meet 1 that you did, usme what was the categorization and how many cars were you expecting in each of the categories?
I'll tell you what, there was no categorization. It was just VIP and general. Okay. I divided the area into VIP and general. The whole purpose of it doing that was there was only one ticket.
Okay.
Rest it was VIP and general. I wanted people to be in their comfort zone.
Okay.
Slowly and eventually I'll change that.
Okay.
So VIP I did for the invitees, most of the invitees, but people ended up coming there in the VIP area only because I didn't want to do a segregation thing. You own a 10 lakh car, you stand in the general, and you have a 3 crore plus car, you come to the VIP zone. That was not the point.
Okay.
That was not the point at all.
I think a lot of the people thought it as that point.
Some people got offended by that, but I'll tell you what, some segregation is important. You can't just be open कि हाँ कोई भी आ जाओ नहीं, that is important कि there should be some segregation. I didn't divide the tickets, I didn't do anything. The whole area was accessible for everyone. Just the VIP in general was just for car parking. That's all it was.
Right.
Because I'll tell you what, if you see a Bentley Continental GT and right beside it you park a Honda City, would you like to see it?
Fair enough.
Even if it's a heavily modded car, you wouldn't like to see it because there should be a section, proper section, that you will see these kinds of cars here, modded cars there. So that was the whole point of doing it, but it got mixed up. Okay, some people got offended. I personally didn't like it. I wanted this. It was my first event. It was bound to happen. Yeah, it was just trying and testing out everything.
In fact, that was about to be my next question. That what did you learn out of it?
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
There'll be tens of things.
What I learned, people get offended easily. Yeah, that's what I learned.
Okay.
So I'll tell you what. That was not my point of hurting anyone's sentiments.
Of course.
Okay, this time for RevvedUp 2.0, what I'm doing is I am not dividing it into VIP and general. I'm creating zones.
Like what?
So one would be the superbike zone.
Okay.
One would be vintage zone. So one would be supercar zone. One would be modded zone. So it would be like that. I am not doing that segregation anymore. The VIP and general one.
Okay.
Because that was not my point at the first place only. I didn't want to do that, but it was important for the car parking. If I wanted to do that, I would have made a lot. Okay, VIP, I would have sold it for like 2-3K and the general passes for 1,000. I didn't do that. I had a fixed price for every ticket. It was 899.
Okay.
For everyone.
For VIP and general both.
Yeah. The whole area was accessible for everyone.
Okay.
It was just for car parking, the general and VIP area.
Okay.
So people got confused by that. I had parked Tahura's Seltos there in the VIP. Why would I park it if I was segregating people? I wasn't segregating the areas. I was just, VIP was for the invitees and mainly for supercar owners. Rest, it was cars were supposed to be in the general, whether it's a BMW, whether it's a Mercedes or an Audi, any car, it was supposed to be in the general only.
You know, you're one of the few people who actually pronounced BMW.
Yeah.
But large chunk of people don't know it's actually the pronunciation, German pronunciation is BMW.
Yeah, I'm a Beamer fanboy now since the very beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, any particular instance from the first event wherein you felt that you organized it in a certain way, or a certain, it was something it's supposed to happen in a certain way and it happened completely in the opposite way?
Yeah, for sure.
Talk about it.
So there was people were fighting with the security about the VIP area. We will park our cars here only. They were not moving their cars, and I didn't want anyone to be uncomfortable, and I didn't want people to start fighting. I was like, let it go with the flow. Some people were really hesitant to park their cars in the general. They were parking their cars in the VIP, and I was like, everyone is here to enjoy. Let them do what they want to do. I'll do better next time. So that's why for RevvedUp 2.0 I have removed that segregation, the VIP in general, because the whole point of doing that, people didn't get it. So that's why I've changed my ideation only. I am doing zones this time, so there would be no confusion this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. How did the sponsors take it after the event happened? I'm assuming all the sponsors came to visit also.
Yeah.
What was their feedback?
It was very beneficial for the sponsors. If you were near Car Street's platform, they got 2 cars. One was the Urus, one was the Huracan. Yeah. So they had a lot of traction. They were asking people just sit in our cars and post pictures, post videos, and just tag us. And they were doing giveaways and everything.
Okay.
So they were interacting with people. I'll tell you what, even if you can't afford a Lambo or anything, you will be, even if you can afford it, you will still be hesitant to go and ask to sit in the car, right?
Yeah.
You will be uncomfortable.
क्या मैं बैठ सकता?
Yeah. Can I sit, please? तो वो पूरा चीज चेंज हो गई. Car Street got 2 Lambos, right? So they asked people to sit in it. तो जो पूरा पॉइंट था कि rather than going to the showroom, they brought their cars there. People were sitting in it. They were comfortable. They loved it. They were revving the cars. ठीक है? They loved it, and it was very beneficial for Car Street at the end. Same for BMW. So what they did, they did 2 displays. So one was the 5 long wheelbase, which was newly launched. One was the XM. People loved it. But end of the day, it was more beneficial for Car Street.
यार XM, it's actually growing on.
Yeah.
Initially, I was like, कि क्या निकाल दिया BMW ने? To be very honest, I mean, I'll be a little brutally honest on the design aspect. Initially, तो मेरे को लगा था समझ में ही नहीं आया था वो design. But I think slowly, I'm starting to really love the way that car looks.
Same goes for the 5.
I am not a fan of the new 5.
No
At
one
least for now.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. It will grow on you. Every time whenever a new car comes out, people are like, ये क्या बकवास बना दिया तुमने, क्या कर दिया? But eventually, they can't hate it.
I think unfortunately हुआ क्या है, because of the Indian road conditions, ना, the new 5 series in India that they've launched with much smaller tires.
Yeah.
And that is making it look very disproportionate.
I drive the 5G31. ठीक है, तो I love that. I don't like the 5 long wheelbase, but it will grow on you, for sure it will. Because it's something different, right? When you compare it with pictures and on road, it's a different ball game altogether.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I think. Yeah.
Talking a little bit about the business model जो तेरा था RevvedUp के लिए, what is the basic business model that you're currently operating on? And this why I'm asking is because as you're growing with such a successful and a wonderful first event, I'm sure a lot of people, including myself by the way, would want to understand कि इसका structure क्या होता है, business का structure क्या होता है, because I presume that you are actually pursuing it as a business in times to come.
Yes. So I'll tell you what, in the starting you can't earn much with car meets because it's a lot of headache firstly. Getting the sponsors, relying on ticket sales, getting people on board, because people think, if I'll tell you what, getting exhibitors it's a very difficult task. How will you get food brands? Because as I told you, I own cloud kitchens. Okay? I had 3 kitchens. So whenever I used to go for events, I would always choose 3-day events.
Okay.
I'll tell you the reason for that, because मेरी cost उतनी ही आनी है. Whether it's a 1-day event or a 3-day event, the cost is the same. Because logistics जो भी है आपके, traveling, getting the staff, everything, that comes down to the cost is the same for 3 days or 1 day.
Okay.
So people don't like going for 1-day events. 1 day में भी car meets कितनी देर की होती हैं? 4 hours, 5 hours?
6 hours, 5 hours.
So people are very hesitant to come. कि हमारी कॉस्ट तो सेम ही आनी है. अब आई एम डूइंग एन इवेंट, मेरी भी कॉस्ट आ रही है टू सेट अप द स्टॉल, गिविंग आउट द स्पेस, एवरीथिंग. आई हैव टू अर्न समथिंग आउट ऑफ इट. हाउ पीपल आर लाइक कि हाँ इतने में हम नहीं कर सकते, इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल टू डू इट बिकॉज आपका वैसे ही इट्स अ 5 hour event. Why would we associate with you?
Right.
Yeah, so we can't earn, it's a loss making thing for us.
Okay.
So they won't come. Most of the food vendors won't come.
So the revenue that you get is purely out of ticket sales.
Out of ticket sales and sponsors.
Sponsors.
Yeah.
हाँ तो sponsors तो I'm assuming कि sponsors तो to be able to cover as much as possible of your costs, right?
Yeah.
So costs के जैसे क्या क्या heads आते हैं basically?
Yeah, cost heads, I'll tell you what, the main cost is the venue and licensing.
Okay.
If you have the venue, half of your problems are resolved.
Okay.
Major cost, the most costliest thing is the venue. If you get the venue for free or anything, then you can earn easily out of it. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're good with your marketing, if you're good with interacting with people, your social media is doing good, you can easily call people if your venue is sorted.
But in the first event, did you have to pay for the venue?
Oh, for sure. Yes.
DLF.
Yes, DLF.
Okay. And apart from the venue, what all other costs did you incur? Basically, just to understand.
There's the production cost, because if you do a underground meet, that's way more cheaper than doing an open car meet. Because I'll tell you what, the area is less. in the parking lots. The area is less. You don't have to. You just have to work on the lighting. Rest of the things, the sound, you don't have that much cost for sound. You don't have that much cost because obviously the area is less. You don't have to put much of lights and everything. So cost, there's a major difference between open events and underground meets.
Okay.
For the licensing also, for everything.
What kind of licensing do you mean?
The basic licenses, that is the fire safety, health, and then there is DC permission,
But
police,
fire safety
everything.
वगैरह का तो हाँ चलो पुलिस परमिशंस तो all I understand. फायर सेफ्टी का तो प्रॉपर्टी ओनर का नहीं होना चाहिए लाइसेंस.
If you go for a government venue, then you have to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
If you're going for a government property, then you have to get the licenses procured for the fire and everything. You have to keep an ambulance on board handy. You have to keep the fire brigade. Everything should be ready.
So आप ये कह रहे हो कि फायर का लाइसेंस इवेंट का अलग होता है.
Yeah.
जो मुझे फायर का लाइसेंस बिकॉज आई एम फ्रॉम द लॉजिस्टिक्स बैकग्राउंड, तो हम लोगों का जैसे क्या, जैसे मान लो वेयर हाउस है
Yeah.
या कोई बिल्डिंग है, तो उसके बिल्डिंग बाय लॉज के हिसाब से आपके पास नॉर्म्स होते हैं कि इतने फीट के बाद इतना स्प्रिंकलर होना चाहिए, फायर एग्जिट डोर होना चाहिए, ये
Yeah.
होना चाहिए, वो होना चाहिए, और आपको एक चीज मिलती है फायर एनओसी.
Yeah, for DLF they had that.
ऑफ कोर्स
DLF they had that. For the next venue I'm doing, they don't. I have to do it.
हाँ.
Yeah.
बट हाँ वही मैं समझना चाह रहा हूँ कि बिकॉज कंसिडरिंग वो भी तो एक वेन्यू है, तो वहाँ पे भी तो ऑलरेडी इन लोगों ने फायर सेफ्टी नॉर्म्स तो फॉलो कर ही रखे
Yeah,
होंगे.
but still, depending on the venue, as when your venue changes, there are different types of licenses required.
Okay.
In Delhi, there's a different set of licenses. Gurgaon, that's a different story altogether.
Okay.
Depending on the venue, your licenses change. It's
Okay.
very costly. Yeah.
After the first meet, and this might be a sensitive question, do you think the event was misunderstood by a certain chunk of people?
I'll tell you what. Mostly, I got positive feedbacks only. Okay, but there was some negative backlash. People were like, yeah, I'll tell you what, you can't make everyone happy. Right? Some people cannot be satisfied. Some people are jealous how you do it. And some people just don't want to associate with you, right? They have a problem because I'll tell you what, my background is not from the car industry, right? Me being an outsider entering this field and doing a successful event, that pinches a lot of people, right?
It does.
You know, like you will always find 10% of the people against you only, no matter how good of a person you are. No matter what you do, there will be those people. So let's move on with that. Yeah.
नहीं, बट कई बार ऐसा होता है ना कि लाइक यू एज यू मेंशन्ड दैट योर ऑब्जेक्टिव वाज वेरी क्लियर कि आई बेसिकली व्हाट यू वांटेड टू डू इज encourage or sort of promote the culture of automobiles in general. But कई लोग उसको misinterpret कर लेते हैं कि यहाँ तो सिर्फ show off हो रहा है.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, yeah, मेरा ऐसे I have never seen any of the other people doing these car meets or track days or anything as my competitor. I'm personally well connected with a lot of them, like Lakshay Bhaiya from B&D.
Yeah.
So I have a good relation with him. Then talk about Sarthak from Vip Mantra. We talk. He helps me with a lot of things. He approached me before my first event because he was the one to do it before me. So he approached me before the event. He told me, if you need, I'll do what no one else did for me. I'll help you out wherever you need help. Just let me know. I'll help you out. So some people are really nice and some people are not. That's the reality of it. So like, you can't, end of the day, you can't make everyone happy.
Okay.
You do what you want to do. Let others think whatever they want to think.
And probably then eventually you take a feedback that what better you can do so that they also think a little bit positively about you.
Look, I really don't care about that. Okay. I'm here to do something. I'm here to create an impact. I'm here to network. I am here to talk to people, get to know about the industry more and more every day. That's the whole point of doing it. Otherwise, I could have done any other event, right? I connect with this industry. That's why I want to do it in the car field. I'll tell you what. Funny story. Like some kids approached me after my first event. They're like 17, 18 year olds. They were talking to DLF ki we want to do an event, and he approached me also that I need your help. Okay. So I asked him one thing. How did you think of coming up with this? What are you planning to do? कुछ नहीं, हम कार मीट कर रहे हैं, हमने सोचा आप कर सकते हो, हम क्यों नहीं कर सकते हैं, इजी होगा. No, that was the whole thinking. People think it's grass is like you said earlier, grass is always greener on the other side. So it's not like that.
Of course.
It's a lot of work. People think कि हाँ side business की तरह भी treat कर सकते हो. But if you want to go in the long run, you can't do that. You have to focus on it for at least 2-3 years.
You really have to plan a lot of things.
Because यार ऑटोमोबाइल में ना लोग 20-20 साल से बैठे हैं, ठीक है. So what's so special about you that you can do it? That's the first question in people's mind, right? So you have to prove them wrong.
And how did you manage crowd control? Because that is something I also observed. पहले भी कुछ meets पे गए हुए हैं, तो वहाँ पे एक point पे I feel crowd control करना बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है. Because after a certain point there is that certain chunk of people who end up misbehaving. And they end up, I don't know for what reason on earth, they want to do that you're not supposed to do there. So how were you able to control that, or were you able to control that?
Touch wood, I was able to control that. And people generally, the crowd was good. No one was fighting as such, and I had a lot of security for that purpose. Second, I was there were no such conflicts. I didn't face any of those problems during my meet. I guess I was lucky enough, so I didn't face that problem that much.
Okay. Do you have a dream event in your head that this is something I visualize? So what does your dream car event look like?
So my dream car event is basically, what I want to do is, look, I love drifting. Okay? I want, and people are really, it's a eye catcher. People see drift, right? So drift arenas and everything. So I want a good area with drift arenas, like one corner people are drifting, one is for drag races. In one venue only, I'm trying to find the perfect venue for that. It should be drag races, then one whole area should be for the supercars, collector cars, everything. One should be for vintage. So basically everything under one roof, and people should really enjoy it, not coming there just for the sake of showing off. It should be like pure. The event should have a good vibe, and there is everything going on. The flow is good, everything is good. That's the whole point of doing it. I don't want anything else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking about car meets, I think you should really, if at all you don't know the gentleman already, do you by any chance, do you happen to know Jeet Tapasvi?
Yes, I've heard of him. Yeah.
Okay, so I did a podcast with him, and उन्होंने भी अभी तक I think कुछ साल से वो underground meets कर रहे हैं.
Okay.
He calls it the underground car meet, and it's quite a story. I mean, as far as I remember, so he started with at one backyard, किसी के घर के पीछे यार दोस्तों ने चारपाई बीच में लगा के या एक टेबल चेयर वगैरह कुछ लगा के एंड चारों तरफ गाड़ियां विद हेडलाइट्स ऑन खड़ी कर दी, और नीचे कुछ टारमैक या कंक्रीट भी नहीं था. इट वाज कीचड़ एंड मिट्टी. वहाँ 6-8 बंदों ने गाड़ियां खड़ी करके दे वर जस्ट चिलिंग. That was his first underground meet, and आज की डेट में now he's organizing big events wherein you've got like stage shows happening, people like Sanam Sekho coming and doing drift shows for them, then stunt shows, bike stunt shows happening, and then everything, and then hundreds and hundreds of cars of all categories. Like he was talking about this gentleman who had he tuned an any Padmini जो पहले एनी होती थी
Yeah.
एक, that rear wheel drive, and he did something, I think an engine swap or something,
Okay.
and I think a 2JZ engine in an any,
Yeah.
and he was drifting in that. So I really feel that it'll be a great thing if you can probably plan a visit to him and meet him, because I think
Yes.
his inputs and his views will really help you to probably even visualize more of what you can do.
Yeah.
Because so before I even say something about my opinion about the car culture or the difference in the way car culture is happening in Delhi NCR, or should I say North
Yeah.
and South or West India, I would like to ask you, what is your observation of how people understand cars as a culture in North India and in South India? What is your experience and understanding of that?
Like, I'll tell you what, there are proper car guys in South India, okay? In the North, it's increasing, but it's more of a show off only, ठीक है?
Unfortunately,
दिल्ली की यही स्टोरी है कि people, unless you have money, people won't talk to you, ठीक है? ये होता है, ये बहुत लोगों के साथ होता है कि हाँ, अगर आप, मैंने क्या देखा था, जो नोटिस किया मैंने, बाकी जगहों पे भी है, went to car meets, तो people don't interact that much with, like, अगर सुपर कार ओनर है ना, वो अपने में ही रहेंगे, अपने में ही बात करेंगे. They won't talk to outsiders, they won't talk to these people. बिल्कुल ही अलग हो जाता है, modified segment अलग हो गया, फिर ऑडियो साउंड का अलग चल रहा है, then there is सुपर कार वाला अलग चल रहा है. So by doing RevvedUp, I want to break that barrier eventually. I know I can't do that in one day. I need to do some events for that. I need to do mini meets also. So I am working on that, and eventually I will do it. For sure, I'll do it.
Anything that you wish that the attendees knew about the background work of your events?
So I'll tell you what, it takes a lot of effort connecting with everyone, because it's just, you just have 24 hours in a day, right? You have to do a lot of work. I have other work as well, but still I have to take out the time to connect with each and every one of them. Right? That's a lot of effort. So I really love it. I love talking to new people every day. I love it. I am an introvert. I still remember before the event, I used to, whenever I used to call people, I used to hand over the phone to Tanya. I was like, यार तू बात कर ले प्लीज, मेरे से नहीं हो पाएगी, मैं वहाँ पे बात कर लूँगा, देखता हूँ. I need time to connect with people, because I can't just instantly start talking to them. ठीक है, I can't do that. I am coming out of my shell, talking to people now. This is the most you'll see me talking right now. Okay, so that was one. Second, I couldn't talk to sponsors. So I'll memorize something. क्या ये बोलूँगा मैं, ठीक है, हो जाएगा, जैसी कॉल I'll choke out. ठीक है, I couldn't say anything. I am calling from RevvedUp. I'm doing this car and bike meet and all that, and randomly I'll just stop. I wouldn't know what to say.
Then what do you do to give the phone to Tanya?
I'll be like, I have my partner here with me, please talk to her. She'll explain you the whole thing. So
Okay.
after a while, I became so fluent with it that she couldn't talk to people. She was like, you stole my essence. Okay? I was talking to people, I was talking to sponsors and everyone. And इतनी मैंने बात कर ली कि when it was her turn to talk to people, she used to forget what was the whole point of calling them. And after the calls, like this happened like 4-5 times, she told me, you stole my essence, alright. I can't talk to people now because of you, because I was teaching you, I forgot how to do it. I go, wow, that's great. I would happily steal that. So yeah, that was the highlight.
So there are talking about a couple of other events that are doing, like Sarthak you mentioned from Whip Mantra.
Yeah.
He's doing a great job, I think, organizing events across the country,
sure,
and I'm
for
sure he has the same intention as me and you have.
Yeah.
So if at all, is there anything that मतलब एक होता है ना कि यार ये बंदा ऐसे इवेंट्स कर रहा है, ये बंदा ऐसे इवेंट्स कर रहा है, तो ऐसा होता है कि आपके माइंड में ऐसा होता हो कि मैं क्या डिफरेंट कर सकता हूँ. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल क्या ऐसा होता है? डू यू हैव दिस माइंड
Yes, for
these
sure.
thoughts?
I keep thinking about it every day. Ki what is so different about me that people should not go to any other meets and come to my meet only?
Okay.
That is the ultimate question.
Okay.
Like, I'm still figuring that out. I'm trying to come up with new things, trying to do something out of the box. So I'm coming up with ideas, new ideas. I'll be trying each and every one of them eventually, slowly and gradually with every meet coming by. So if you saw RevvedUp 2.0 is going to be way better. Then after that, it's going to be better. So I will grow eventually.
Okay.
I need time to do that.
Okay.
You can't expect everything to happen in a day, right? So you have to build something like that.
Okay.
So people are they're working in this industry since the past 15 years, 20 years. They know people, they have connects, they know the inside out of the industry.
Yeah.
I'm learning. I'm still in the learning phase, right?
Of course.
So I'll be there soon.
Okay. So comparing RevvedUp 1 and RevvedUp 2 जो अब आप करने
Yes.
वाले हो, so I mean we already spoke about the car categorization part,
Yes.
which we are planning, which you're already decided that now you will categorize it in a different way and not in like general and VIP
Yes.
like you did.
Yes.
But apart from the categorization, what are a few other things, if I ask you to point out 3 or 4 things that you would say that you will do different in the second RevvedUp meet?
So the major crowd puller is the drift arena.
Okay.
So this time I'm adding the drift arena at the venue only.
Okay.
So like there would be 4-5 main people from the industry who would be drifting.
Okay.
It would not be open to the public because of safety concerns
Okay.
and liability, of course.
Yeah.
So like I'll give you an example. Prateek Bhaiya and Ashwin Singh Takyar, both of them would be drifting for sure
Okay.
at the event. And second is we are doing a super bike revving competitions. Then we are doing this time I had a lot of problem with DLF because there were a lot of complaints coming in, but this venue I have a bit leniency that I can allow people to do burnouts. I can ask them to rev their engines, do anything you want to do, just be happy.
Okay.
Right? So it's going to be there this time. So one is the drift arena, then the revving, then for the sound audio competition, I'm thinking of adding that also to the event. Then there would be this burnouts. So I'm doing everything. I've added 2-3 things. Last time I asked people not to do burnouts, rev at a particular level, but this time there are no constraints. You can do whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Just have fun at the end of the day.
And in the drift arena that you're doing this time, so what is it like? I mean, is it going to be like, one thing is definitely for sure that let's say Prateek and Ashwin, if they're drifting, people will have time of their lives watching them drift, first of all. Secondly, would you also be having like taxi rides available for?
Yes, taxi rides would be available. I missed that. Taxi rides would be available for people, yes.
Okay. And that would be, I'm assuming, on a chargeable basis?
Yes.
Of course.
On a minimal charging basis.
I mean, who would want to pay for tires?
Yeah.
Of course. Ashwin will not pay for burning his car's tires for other people.
They'll ask me to pay, chal tu de. Career drifting, tu kar. So that's another cost. I just have to cover that.
Do you have a structure, a brief structure for taking feedback from the attendees who visited the first one?
Yes.
Okay, how do you do that?
I have a website. So I ask people, even after the event also, I ask people, how was it? What did you like about it? What you didn't like about it? Just let me know your honest opinion. So I had a word with Prateek Bhaiya also after the event. He told me ki what could have been better, कि ये कितना अच्छा था. So I get honest reviews from people and I work on that. I want feedbacks.
Okay.
Yeah, because I am not perfect and I can't be perfect.
Would you like to talk about three or four interesting feedbacks that you get? That you got?
So one was the best. Ki, there was a kid. He put up some stories regarding ki I don't like this structure of ticketing. Your ticketing structure. Car meets shouldn't be ticketed, and the segregation of the VIP in general.
Okay.
One was that. Second, again about the segregation, people didn't like the segregation. Third, I'll tell you what, I didn't get any feedback about the vibe. People loved the vibe there. The vibe was good. As such, there were only two major complaints. Only one guy with the ticketing problem, and some with the segregation problem. The
Okay.
VIP in general. Rest, it was fine.
Okay.
People loved it. It was great. These were the two problems faced by me.
Okay.
Okay, so I worked on that. Ticketing I can't. I have to do some crowd control, right? Even if I just cut out the ticketing, how am I supposed to do it? Even if I get sponsors also, I can't cover my cost first. Second, I would not remove the ticketing process because even if I was doing it on a limited scale, like there are only like 30-40 cars, then I would happily remove the ticketing process.
फिर तो
But,
it's like
हाँ.
another, let's say for example what we have at Khan Market or
Yes,
any other
yes.
small parking area where
Yeah.
just like 40-50 guys are meeting up.
So for doing events at such a scale, you need to add the tickets because you have to do crowd control. You have to see what kind of crowd is coming to your event, everything. And for the segregation, I've already told you about that.
Yeah.
I've created like sections for that. Yeah.
Okay.
So I take people's feedback seriously. Yeah.
I think that's eventually how not just you but anybody will grow.
Yeah.
I think it was a great conversation there, and definitely, as I tell everybody, this is
Yeah.
not the last conversation. This is just the first conversation. The more you grow, the more I grow, the more
Yes.
meets you do. I'm sure you will also evolve, and we'll have a lot more things to talk about. You will get more ideas as to what more you can bring to the table for the
Yeah.
people who are attending your meets.
Yes, it will be
and
bigger and better.
bigger and better.
Yeah.
And God bless you for what you're doing, because I think it's truly a great cause that you're trying to achieve
Thank you.
in terms of bringing the car community together and making, or just should I say, telling people that it's a culture. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you have, let's say, an old school Maruti Suzuki Zen or a tuned Swift or a tuned BMW, or let's
Yes.
say a 1963 carburetor Mustang, or let's say the new BMW M2. What matters is
Your passion.
the
Your love
passion
for cars.
for automobiles in
Yes.
general. Because in times to come, I'm personally not sure what will happen to things like gear shifters,
Yeah.
engines. कुछ नहीं पता आगे क्या होगा. And I think this is the true essence of automobiles, the vibrations that people like
Yes.
me, you and other people in the room feel. And let's just hope that we are able to retain that. And
Hopefully.
God bless you, man.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
It's great talking to you.
Thanks. Great talking to you.